Welcome to the Alison Lumbatis Show, a podcast to help women discover and rediscover their confidence and style. I'm Alison Lumbatis, and I am delighted to have you joining me on this brand new podcast adventure. I've got an incredible lineup of episodes for you in the coming weeks that include one-on-one coaching sessions, expert guests, as well as my own style story. But before we dive into that, I want to spend some time introducing you to the philosophies that have created the foundation of my beliefs as a style psychology expert. The first pillar we're going to dive into today is this: you are worthy. This year marks the 10th anniversary of my style program, Outfit Formulas, which is completely blowing my mind. And before that, I was a style blogger for a few years. I share this to say that I have been talking with women about their appearance, their confidence, their style, and their wardrobe struggles for a long time. I can tell you without hesitation that the number one thing holding women back from discovering their confidence is guilt. Spending money on our appearance or our clothing, investing our energy, exploring our appearance and what makes us feel good. Taking the time to get ready every morning. I mean, how dare we, right? And if you're not watching this on YouTube, that was sarcasm. But consider this. Guilt is reserved for things that are either immoral or illegal. Let that sink in for a minute. And I can totally relate to this. When my kids were little, I didn't hesitate to invest any of our extra money into making sure they looked cute, into clothing or experiences for them. Yet I would get racked for guilt over something as simple as wanting to get my hair colored or get my nails done or buying new makeup or clothes. But here's the thing. Buying clothes that you feel good wearing, making time to get dressed and put on makeup in the morning, or regularly getting your hair or your nails done or whatever makes you feel good, none of these things are immoral or illegal. There is no space for guilt here. What I found that so many women are actually seeking is permission. Permission to invest in yourself, to take up space, to love your body, to show up unapologetically as the best version of you. Here's what I believe. I believe that getting older is a reason to embrace and celebrate what makes you uniquely you. I gotta say, one of the most beautiful things about getting older is I've stopped caring as much about what other people think. But I think that even more importantly than that is that it starts to become more uncomfortable to not live in your truth than it is to just be who you are. And then you start to live in your truth, and that's the thing that becomes the driving force. It's not about what other people think anymore. It's not about their acceptance. It's about your own acceptance of who you truly are. And I always grew up feeling a little bit different from my peers, and that could be really isolating and lonely at times. But now I embrace all of those differences because I realize that this is how I was uniquely created. And I know in the fiber of my being that because of these things that make me different, not in spite of them, that's what gives me something to share with the world and with the people that I love. And that acceptance has honestly been life-changing. And if you're watching today's episode on YouTube, I would love to hear from you in the comments. What ways are you celebrating and embracing yourself and your style as you've gotten older? And what have your challenges been in doing so? Hitting those milestone birthdays is no reason to fade into the background while younger generations take the stage. This is a topic I want to dive into later regarding visibility as we age, but for now, show up in the world, take space, and be unapologetic. I believe that all bodies are good bodies and are worthy of being dressed to feel good. As women, our bodies are in a constant state of change, from puberty to childbearing years to menopause, and every version of you and your body deserves to feel good. All too often, I hear from women that they're waiting waiting for some kind of physical change to happen before they invest in themselves and invest in their wardrobes. And we've got it all backwards. Change comes with action. And when you feel good, you are inspired and motivated to achieve your goals, whatever they may be. You deserve to dress the body you have now. I believe that building a functional wardrobe isn't reserved exclusively for those with endless financial resources. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we all had a bottomless bank account to shop for clothes without consequence? Of course it would. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I would love that. But instead of using being on a tight budget as an excuse, I would encourage you to focus on what is in your control. One of my sweetest internet friends is Michaelyn Smith. You might know her as the Nester. And she is a brilliant home decor teacher. So be sure to check out her podcast, House Rules, because you're going to love it. I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes. But one of the things she teaches is that we all have different ways to invest when exploring our style. Some of us have more money, others have more time. Some of us have more ideas or creativity or more control. And Michaelyn says that in the areas where you are lacking, you can lean harder on the other qualities to find solutions. So maybe you don't have money in your budget for clothes shopping, but instead you can use your creativity to explore other avenues that work within your budget, or even options that are free. You can shop at thrift stores. You could go to Facebook Marketplace or secondhand websites like Poshmark and Mercari and ThredUp and eBay. There's a ton of them out there right now. You can even do a clothing swap with your friends. That one's completely free. Or you can check your local Buy Nothing group for people that are giving away clothes. This method of curating your closet leans on other qualities like time and creativity instead of money to build your wardrobe. And I don't subscribe to guilt over spending money on myself anymore, because if that is something you struggle with, then build it into your budget. I have had to create budget when it really wasn't there, especially in the early days of blogging. And sometimes it was maybe $10 or $20 a week, but I knew it was important to set that money aside to invest it into the things that made me feel good. I've always wanted to democratize personal style for other women. I know from experience that most of us can't afford $150 an hour to have a stylist come into our home, walk into our closet, and help us shop our closet for clothes, then make another big investment when they take us out shopping for new pieces. So through outfit formulas, one of my primary goals was to make it affordable for you to have that style resource, for me to show you how to shop your closet, and for you to intentionally be able to build a wardrobe that you love, which over time is going to serve you well budgetary wise, because you're not going to be investing a ton of money into that. And part of that beauty of the outfit formulas concept is that you get to personalize each daily outfit, and that is in your control. You don't have to have a specific article of clothing to make that work. You get to decide the budget, and you get to work within it, shopping at stores that work for you. Whether you are a thrift store shopper or a Fifth Avenue shopper, great style is accessible for all women. And by the way, there's an H&M on Fifth Avenue, so I'm going to consider myself a Fifth Avenue shopper now. I believe that the number on the scale or the tag in your clothes does not determine if you have the right to feel confident in an outfit. Style is for everybody, regardless of size. We have such a diverse range of women represented in our community, and that's the beauty of it. We literally have every single size and body shape represented, and those women come into our communities to support and lift each other up. They are giving advice. They're sharing the stores they're shopping at. They're sharing the pieces that work best for their body shapes and what fits and flatters them most. And never, ever underestimate the power of a community to support you on any journey. While there is still a lot of improvement, many retailers are offering more inclusive sizing and recognizing that we do come in all shapes and sizes. I believe that a woman making the time to feel good about her appearance is something to be celebrated, not a danger to be threatened by. I see this all the time on social media, whether it's Dolly Parton getting criticized for her Dallas Cowgirls cheerleader outfit, which I thought was amazing, by the way, or women who even tell me, hey, you're too old to be wearing that. We get these messages that we need to blend in and stay small. And I get it. Evolutionarily speaking, we've had to fit in order to be accepted by our community. Our very existence depended on it. So for some of us, it's really hard and super scary to be the one who stands out. A few years back, one of my earliest Outfit Formulas members experienced this in real life. When she joined the program, she was suddenly the mom standing out. She was showing up in her cute clothes every day for carpool. And after a few days of this, she wasn't showing up in her typical sweatsuit. The other moms started making comments to her. Being the smart gal that she is, she recognized that they were maybe possibly somehow feeling threatened by the way that she was showing up. But instead of getting defensive or chastising them, or worse, dulling her own shine to fit back in, she did something that I'll never forget. She invited them along on the journey with her. She challenged them to join the program with her too. And one day, not too long after that, I got a text from her with a photo of all of the morning moms dressed in their outfit of the day. How cool is that? In Australia and New Zealand, there's a cultural phenomenon. It's referred to as tall poppy syndrome, where people, but especially women who stand out, are ostracized and criticized. If you feel like the tall poppy, then I encourage you to own it. Stand tall and turn your face toward the sun. Who knows who you could be inspiring just by being brave? And also remember this, a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's champion women supporting women. I believe that getting dressed in a cute outfit is not a vain pursuit. You know, I used to get pushback on my blog name, Get Your Pretty On, or I get comments online that I like wearing my yoga pants. What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. If it's working for you, if you feel good and confident wearing your yoga pants, then you're probably not going to get much value from what I have to say. And I'm okay with that. This is a judgment-free zone. I'm not here to shame anyone on anything that works for them. I'm sharing my message for the women who don't feel good about their wardrobe, who don't feel confident when they walk into a room, who are tired of feeling overwhelmed by something that's supposed to be as easy as just getting dressed. And it feels anything but simple. Your worth is not tied to your appearance, but studies show your confidence is. And that's good news, because that's something we have control over. And although I've personally felt the power of this in my life, I also have a background in psychology, so I've dug into the research a bit around confidence and appearance. And there are plenty of studies out there that support this. And the good news is we have control over how we dress. And it's something we can quickly and easily change. This one external change can lead to powerful internal shifts. I won't get into all the studies for the sake of time, but there are a few interesting ones worth noting. The first is the enclothed cognition effect. And this was founded by two psychologists, and the idea is based on the notion that the clothing you wear has a strong influence over the way you think and act. In this 2012 study, it was discovered that wearing a white lab coat described as a doctor's coat tended to increase sustained attention compared to wearing that same coat described as a painter's coat. Because we perceive doctors as having a more heightened level of attention to detail, the participants began to take on those same qualities when dressed as a doctor. Research has also revealed that how we dress impacts what the world perceives about us. And one study showed that teachers and physicians dressed in professional rather than casual attire were rated as having a higher level of intelligence, scholastic ability, and credibility. On the other hand, those in casual clothes are seen as being friendlier, more approachable, and more laid back than those dressed formally. And in another study, it was found that compared to those in casual attire, professionally dressed participants do display higher levels of self-esteem, self-efficacy, and are more likely to demonstrate interest in applying for a higher level position. They were also more likely to apply for a new position that would require them to take on more responsibility and face greater challenges while rewarding them with higher pay. All of this to say that simply changing the way you dress can have a drastic impact on how you think about yourself and your capabilities. So next time you pick out an outfit, think about how the clothes you wear may turn you into a different person. They don't just affect your confidence levels, but they can also impact your success. Kia, the car manufacturer, did an interesting study a few years back on confidence, and a few of the things included in the top 10 list for women were high heels, a little black dress, and designer perfume. For men, that list included a freshly shaved face, a new suit, and nice smelling aftershave. Did you notice in 2 out of 3 of these for both men and women, those answers were related to appearance? All of this to say that self-esteem is boosted when we feel good about ourselves. This includes how we look, and it is definitely not vain to invest in our appearance. Getting dressed is about so much more than clothes. It's about the confidence you feel when you know you look good and how that confidence spills over into other areas of your life. I've seen the power of this in the Outfit Formulas community in so many ways. Many of our members have cited that focusing on their wardrobes and feeling confident in their clothes was the catalyst for a big change in their lives. Some have embarked on health and wellness journeys, others working on their mental health. Some have built better connections with their partners and their children, and others have reported having gotten promotions or deciding to go back to school and finish out a degree. Never underestimate the power of feeling confident in your clothes. I believe that allocating room in your budget for clothing is not frivolous or shameful. This is something that I've been emphasizing for years. As a matter of fact, 10 years ago, I wrote a post on my old blog, which I will link in the show notes, about the power of having a clothing allowance. And I shared the impact that that had on me. I also shared the clothing budgets of other women in my community, what they were working with, and how they would spend it. The crazy thing is, a woman DM'd me just a few weeks ago sharing what an impact that blog post and that concept has had on her all the way into this day. Something as small as carving out $10 from her weekly budget just for a new lip gloss had a significant impact on her life. And honestly, the trope that's portrayed in the media and entertainment of women being shopaholics or frivolous spenders is exhausting. It's just not true. Women are more likely to spend on their families and give back to their communities. And in my experience, I see this all the time. Women don't hesitate for a second to buy clothes for their families and their kids when they need it. But how many of you continued wearing the nursing bra well after your child was weaned? I know I wore my maternity jeans for 6 months after my babies were born, and not just because I couldn't fit into my old jeans. I would rather buy clothes for my kids every time. The women I speak to are paralyzed by fear of wasting money and getting it wrong. So they just end up buying nothing and living with a wardrobe and a style that leaves them feeling frustrated every single day. It is often perceived that what women want or value spending money on is trivial or worthless. It doesn't have to be this way. I believe that you are worthy of a wardrobe you love, clothes you feel confident wearing, and a supportive community of strong women cheering you on every single day. I see you, and you are not alone. I am proud of you for listening to today's episode, and I ask that you please subscribe to the Alison Lumbatis Show for more heartfelt and helpful conversations. Subscribing is an easy and powerful way to allow me to provide more free content like this. Consider joining the Closet Crew, my free Facebook community group with over 30,000 women. We will walk with you on your own journey to style confidence. You can find the link to that group in the show notes at alisonlumbatis.com/podcast. Now I want to hear from you. Is feeling worthy something you've experienced or are currently experiencing? Did a specific part of today's topic hit a nerve with you? If so, why? And were you surprised by this reaction? Let's open a dialogue and connect. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube as Alison Lumbatis. I would love to hear from you. And if you share your own thoughts about feeling worthy on social media, please tag me and please, please, please share this episode. I'd love to see it and cheer you on. You've just listened to the Alison Lumbatis Show. For show notes and links, go to alisonlumbatis.com/podcast. I would be honored if you'd take a moment to subscribe, review, and share the show. By doing so, you are empowering more women to discover their confidence. I also want to invite you to take control of your style and confidence. 2 ways you can get started today: the DIY option, pick up my book at your local library or any bookstore. I'll link it in the show notes for you, and it's called The Ultimate Book of Outfit Formulas. It includes resources like my closet staples shopping list for every season of the year, tips for defining your own personal style, and a deep dive on the concept of the outfit formula. Second, if you want help to get results immediately and could use a supportive community of thousands of women to lean on and learn from, check out my style program, Outfit Formulas. Head to alisonlumbatis.com/podcast for an exclusive listener discount to get started today. Remember, you are worthy. Style is a skill anyone can learn, and closet contentment is possible. I believe in you. Thanks for tuning in.